Awesome. Perfect. So today, welcome. My name is Rashida. I am the manager of customer success here at Vendasta. The agency landscape is shifting fast, and the agencies pulling ahead are not the ones with the larger teams, but the ones that have made AI a core part of how they deliver results. So this session today is the next installment in our Vendasta sales and strategy series. We are continuing the momentum set and established with Jeff and Keegan in our past two sessions with Nate McCorkendale, Senior Account Manager here at Vendasta, who has a session built specifically around making the transition from a traditional agency model to an AI native model. Nate will cover why consumer expectations have already moved towards AI-powered interactions and what that means for your reputation and retention as an agency, a proven framework for pitching AI to SMB clients as an efficiency driver, and provide real insights from agencies that have made the transition with measurable outcomes to back it up. Nate works with these agencies every day and knows what's actually working out in real life. I'm going to hand it over to him. Nate, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Rashida. Hope you can all hear me all right. And I also hope you all enjoyed the Tragically Hip, greatest Canadian rock band of all time. Never made it down into the States the way they should have, but always great. Make sure you check them out later. And thanks for having me. I am really excited to be presenting today and sharing a few of the thoughts and things that have been going on in my head and some of the things that I talk about with my partners on a regular basis. So just as a quick introduction, Senior Account Manager at Vendasta, my 4-year anniversary is right around the corner. I started here at Vendasta as a sales development rep, making cold calls, reaching out to people, booking those demos for our account executives. And when I started at Vendasta, we called ourselves a white label agency in a box. Our elevator pitch that was drilled into me over and over was, you're a white label digital agency, marketing in a box, everything you need to sell, bill, and fulfill in a single platform. So that was where I started when I came into the Vendasta ecosystem. But I do remember Christmas 2022, ChatGPT wasn't a household name yet. Nobody had really gotten into it and played that much. And our CEO, Brendan King, sent out a company-wide memo saying, there's a big shift that's coming and he laid out how we as a company, we're going to make a pivot and become an AI technology company. So today, the Vendasta elevator pitch is, we're an AI customer acquisition and engagement platform. We have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in bringing AI agents to local businesses and solving some of their biggest needs. So it's a really exciting time to be in the technology space. If you think of what we're capable of doing today with Claude or Manus, it was unthinkable back in 2022 when we were still creating 6-fingered human images with ChatGPT. And so what I want to do today is just walk us through some of the changes and some of how the partners I work with are making those shifts. Our agenda, I'm going to talk us through the market, how it's moved, how to sell, the 3-step framework for agencies to overcome some of that AI hesitancy, tips for selling to SMBs. I have a real world partner story for you. And then I'm going to walk through some of the importances of making that AI agency shift internally and the roadblocks that you might come into. If we have time, depending on how long I talk, we'll do Q&A. So before this, you should know I was a pastor for just about 20 years, did a lot of talking. My father-in-law was a pastor. My dad was a pastor. And one of my favorite lines is, you give a pastor a mic, and so we're here for a long time, not a good time. So here we go. As we think about the 3 shifts or the 3 windows that we're on, one of the questions I want to have you start thinking is, which part of the wave are you on? As an account manager, I've had the pleasure of working currently with over 135 partners in my current book of business. As my time in account management, I've probably worked with over 300 different agencies as an account manager. And typically, I find that the partners fall into one of 3 waves. There are some that are still holding on to those old ways. They're primarily selling SEO. Maybe they're still selling mailers and print ads alongside some digital ads. There's some that just want Vendasta to just be that white label agency in a box with some fulfillment and maybe a reputation tool. But every time we come into a technological disruption like this, it creates a space for new winners, people who can move fast, who craft the pitch and are able to sell. 3 weeks ago, roughly, I was doing a sales training with one of our partners. It's an incredible group of salespeople who started off in Yellow Pages. They were selling phone book ads and print ads, and they read the writing on the wall kind of towards the end of the 90s, and they recognized that there was a technological shift that was happening with smartphones and digital search. And so they moved ads, websites, SEO, and the agencies that made that pivot early ended up with a couple decades of market dominance. They were ahead of everybody else. In our sales training, they pointed out that they're going through another wave again. It is the AI wave. It's the time for those to start engaging in acquisition and engagement, not just SEO. And so this next wave that agencies are finding themselves in is no less important than that shift from the 90s to the 2000s. In the past, the print holdouts lost everything, and the movers are the ones that built decades of competitive advantage. And so I truly believe that agencies that move fast now are the ones that stand to win in the future. How does AI interpret that? It looks something like this. If you throw it into Gemini, these were my prompts. I said, this is the story, and I just kind of laughed. You can see the AI lurking in the window, ready to take over. I'd love to do a little pulse check with you. We'll do a poll, make sure that things are all working and you're able to communicate with us. Let's just do a check here. Where is your agency in respect to the AI shift? And you can throw it out into the answers. We've deployed AI for our clients. We've tested it, but nothing's live yet. We're just still talking. We haven't even done anything, or we haven't even started thinking about it. We love our old ways, and we're sitting there. So it looks like a lot of you are already on the shift. I love to see that. Definitely a few still thinking about it, but haven't gone live. I'm going to keep it moving. So I just want to start here as a reminder of where the market is and what's already happened in terms of how things have moved. The elephant in the room is that zero click is here to stay. Today, 61% of all searches end without a click. Google answers a question directly, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, and the user never visits a website. That's a 13-point jump since AI Overviews launched in May 2024. And when Google's AI Overview was released, HubSpot, arguably one of the best SEO teams in the world, lost nearly 50% of their organic traffic in a single month. Their blog visits have dropped 70 to 80% year over year. And so if the monster like HubSpot can't SEO their way out, you have to ask the question, what is the chances for a dental or an HVAC client? Those numbers make sense to me. My wife and I just celebrated our 21st wedding anniversary in a small Saskatchewan town called Moose Jaw, most famous for its bootlegging tunnels that apparently Al Capone used to use. I planned every restaurant, coffee shop, and store that we went to, and we never landed on a single client's webpage. It wasn't that I didn't search places to go, and it wasn't that we didn't spend money in all of those stores, but Gemini was the one who gave me the itinerary. Gemini told me where to go, and everything worked really well until it was lunchtime one day, and the great lunch spot that was recommended to me by Gemini, I discovered was actually permanently closed, which I think also emphasizes how important working to be found in AI SEO is. Because if Gemini is only giving you 3 options and one of them isn't even open anymore, it means that that 4th spot is really losing out on revenue. So it's a 73% traffic loss. The problem that's happening is your clients are investing in websites, SEO, digital ads, and those investments are less effective every month. The consumer journey has moved. And what I want us to think about is reframing this. It's not about abandoning SEO, because nearly everything you did traditionally for your SEO in the past is still relevant today. When I think about the shift and what it means to become an AI agency, it's about adding the tools that meet the consumer where they actually are now. It's conversational AI. It's instant response. It's reputation and reviews that show up in citations and not just search results. And so if you go away with only one thing today, I think that's what I would most want you to remember. The AI agency, the shift to becoming an AI agency, is about meeting consumers where they are and helping your clients do this in a way that doesn't just burn them out. So one of the things that I hear from agencies all the time is like, my clients aren't ready for AI. They don't want to do AI, or I don't want to push my team into something that they don't understand. But the issue is that consumers aren't waiting for agencies or your clients to feel ready. In 1 year, we saw a 63% jump in the response speed expectations of consumers. 1 year. And so the real reason this matters is that if 78% of your the reason this matters is that 78% of customers also pick the first business that responds to them. Consumers expect faster response, and they go with the first one that gets back to them. So I have a couple quizzes here for you and questions for you to jump in. So quiz number 1, what is the average response time to a new lead? If you're thinking this through and you want to ask, is it, wrong poll up there. No problem. Let's try this again. Average response time to get to a lead. Is it 47 hours, 30 hours, 12 hours, or 72 hours? I'll give you a couple seconds while I take a sip of my coffee and you can jump in. This is the average response time that a business takes to get back to a lead. The answer is, well, most of you are wrong. It is actually 47 hours. Okay, lead win rates increase by how much when you respond within an hour? So if you can get back to that client who reaches out to you and you can do it in an hour, what is the expectation, the percent times that that's going to go up? Is it 4 times, 10x, 7 times, or 5 times? Oh, some of you think I'm tricking you. I love it. Yeah, there we go. So the answer is 7 times. An SMB or a consumer is 7 times more likely to go with the business that gets back to them if they can do it within an hour. So that's a huge increase in your conversion rate if you can just get back to them with speed. And then the last question. What percentage of consumers expect a response within 10 minutes? What percent of consumers expect a response within 10 minutes? Some geniuses in the room. I love to see it. The answer is, in fact, 84%. 84% of consumers are not willing to wait even 15 minutes for a response. So if you think about the gap here that we're talking, think about those minutes, that gap. The average business is taking 47 hours to respond, but 84% of consumers expect that to happen in less than 10 minutes. So that's the gap that we're talking about. Your clients' competitors, the ones who have already deployed AI, are responding in seconds, not hours, and definitely not days. My partner, Jim, calls this stop the shop. We need to park the interest of the consumer, and we need to make sure that they're getting an immediate response. So again, think about the shift to being an AI agency. It's not stopping the things that you did, but it's about owning the conversion and the communication, not just the SEO traffic. If 6 out of 10 people are no longer even visiting your client's website, you need to be absolutely certain that the 4 who do visit the site have every opportunity to communicate with the business, get an instant response to their questions, and get those inquiries answered. You have to make sure that they book the appointment immediately and don't move on. So how do we solve for these issues? I have kind of 3 steps that I have, and I'm sure there are many more. I know that I saw some of the names on this webinar. So I know some of you are geniuses. You're way ahead of us, and we're all learning from you. It's why we love the Vendasta community and the opportunity to learn from one another. Step 1 that I have for you today is to identify one high friction task. So don't try to do AI everything all at once. That's how you get into a mess. What you want to do is you want to look for your fulfillment operations. You want to find that one thing that is costing you or your clients the most time, the most money, the most leads. Usual suspects are often live chat, leads that are coming in after hours, review responses that are too slow or not being responded to, which are great opportunities to be found in LLMs. It's lead follow-up. People aren't even answering the leads that come into them when you do drive them a digital ad click or conversion. Or it's after hour calls. What's happening when people are calling you after hours? How do we help them? And then we take that high friction task and we show them how AI augments and helps them. I'd love to hear from you. What is one high friction task that you want to address next? Or what are the things that you're seeing that are causing those frictions for you? Is it something like after hours inquiry or responding to reviews in the same day, speed to lead follow-up, or social content building? Nice. Looks like a lot of you are dealing with that speed to lead, making sure that we're responding quickly. Love to see that. All right. Step number 2. Once you find that high friction point and the thing that you want to do, we really want to map the tool to the outcome and not the feature. So most agencies who are talking to AI hesitant businesses start to lose the conversation here because they lead with the technology and they start feature dumping. Maybe it's just bad sales practice. We all had to overcome that. We get excited about a new feature, excited about the tech, and we say, oh, it can do X, Y, Z. And people glaze over and they don't understand. And so we don't want to say things like, oh, we're going to deploy an AI chatbot to your website. Instead, what we want to say is we want to put this in a language that they understand and solve the issue that they're facing. Right now, 60% of your incoming leads are coming after hours when there's nobody there to respond. What we're going to do is make sure that every single one of those gets an instant, accurate, on-brand response so that your lead conversion goes up without adding headcount. Same tool, completely different conversation, and the clients buy outcomes. So we don't say, oh, we're going to deploy a chatbot. We want to say your leads are coming in after hours. Review response becomes, let's protect your reputation at scale. AI voice becomes, your phone gets answered every time. One piece that I really wanted to highlight for you inside the Vendasta platform, if you go to Discover Products, go to Conversations AI, and then go down to the screenshots and files, you will find an AI calculator that we've built. It has some basic industry standards in terms of how many leads you can expect, basic cost of value of a lead, and you can take this and turn it into your own bit of proposal for a client. So if you're having a conversation and you want to be able to show them the return on investment that they can receive by using an AI conversations to capture those after-hour leads, this is a great tool for you already available inside the platform for all of you. The third thing then that we want to do is we want to begin to deploy this with guardrails. One of the biggest hesitations that the small business will say is, but what if something goes wrong? What if it says something I don't know or I don't believe? And we really want to walk through with these AI hesitant consumers the fact that we can set up guardrails. We control what it knows, how it responds, what it escalates, what it never touches. The tools that we're using are not big black boxes. We know what the AI knows. We can control how it responds and when it escalates. We can show them the conversations tab where it pulls its answers and why. I've had partners tell me, well, I don't want the AI to give out pricing. But then we look at the conversation and we can see that they have pricing on their website. The AI wasn't making anything up. It was just pulling from the knowledge source that they'd already provided online. And so we want to walk the clients through the setup, show them the guardrails. This is maybe one of my favorite tools. We use the My Listings URL as an opportunity to give them a chatbot trained and ready to go for them to try and break. Ask it the questions you're afraid it's going to do poorly on. Use that My Listings URL as that demo environment for clients to be able to see and test. Run as many messages and chats as they want through it. Show them how the guardrails work. And then the skeptics can become buyers. One other thing we've learned from a lot of our partners is that even when a partner or when one of your clients wants the AI voice, it's a good practice to start with selling the standard pro version first. We start with a web chat, we get that trained, we get those guardrails built, and then on month 1, month 2 or 3, we bring in voice as we've built out the guardrails and done that first. So we really think that that's a great practice to build confidence in it as we move down through the different levels of the conversation. So how do we sell to the SMB? So this is something I've learned directly from working with sales teams who are breaking into digital for the first time. We've done a lot of practice sessions with sales teams in my role, and I found that the teams that succeeded fastest are the ones that tie their pitch to the moment that their client already cares about. For example, if a business gets a trademark approved, there is a legal window called a statement of use period. This is a specific time frame that shows the trademark office that the brand is being used for commerce. That's the moment for the perfect pitch for a website, CRM, lead capture, and social tools. Because you're not selling them a product, you're solving a problem that they have a deadline for. The same applies to any of the other AI tools. We find the moment that matters to the client, and you want to anchor your conversation in that moment. Every AI pitch should have 3 parts. Problem, you lose clients after hours. Solution, AI is going to handle every conversation instantly. Value, typically, we see businesses in X industry capture 3 to 4 more leads per week. What would that be worth to your business? So we find the moment, maybe it's a trademark approval. We need a statement of use, new launch, and we anchor the pitch in that moment. You all know the clients that you work with, and you all have the capacity to be able to discover those core moments, the ones that come up over and over again, and anchor your pitch into that. Then there's the language. How are we going to pitch this? Teams that succeed tie pitches to the moments the clients care about, and then they use language that doesn't sound like technology. We don't want to say things like, hey, we're going to replace your staff with AI. Maybe you will, but that's another conversation. Instead, we want to say your team handles the relationships. The AI handles the repetitive stuff. You should adopt AI. Well, actually, what if we anchor that in you're losing X number of after hours leads, and here's our fix for it. It's an AI chatbot. No, it's a 24/7 response system that's trained on your business. And these are the types of things that we want to sell. Again, anchoring it in the problem, the solution, not AI and technology. So this is a true client story. Everything I'm saying is true. I shouldn't say that. But this is a really cool story from one of my partners who was very AI hesitant when they started. They work with an agency and they pay for offshore live chat coverage for their clients. The model is very simple. Someone comes to the chat, they pay per lead, $10 a lead. On the surface, it sounds reasonable, but we began to do some more discovery and digging into what sort of interaction those live chats have. And what we discovered is that the live chat is actually very generic. They aren't actually that specific to the business. It doesn't answer personalized questions. It just tries to book a meeting with the person on the other end of the line. It's that type of repetitive, simple task that AI excels at. And so the pitch becomes, we're going to make sure every single one of those leads that comes gets an instant, accurate, on-brand response so that your lead conversion goes up. Every lead gets an instant, accurate, on-brand response. And then we sat down and we did the math. If you're paying $10 a lead and you get 50 leads, great, $500 a month. If you have a really great month and you have 1,000 leads, your bill that month is going to be $1,000. We can put that same chatbot onto the website, give you that on-brand, consistent response, and it's going to cost you $29 regardless of how many leads come in. You became more what's the word I'm looking for, guys? You became more profitable. Thank you. And you are giving a better result to your client. Same playbook, same knowledge base, same answers. AI delivers better consistency, no delays. So the hesitancy for this agency wasn't the product. It was about not having seen the numbers on the table. Once we did the math together, the decision is obvious. And so that's your job. Get your clients to do the math for you. How much does it cost you when you don't respond? What happens when you're not booking these leads? How much is a client worth to you? That's kind of the same thing. If we answer these, I think that we'll find most clients aren't anti-AI. They're anti-vague. They're afraid of something that they don't understand and they don't see the value for. Sort of the last big block that I wanted to touch on is maybe something we don't talk about enough is that you as an agency owner can believe in AI. You can see the ROI. You can have the best products in the world, but you can still lose that internal conversation. I'm a salesperson. You're a salesperson. We all know that if we don't like and trust the product we're selling, we're not going to pitch it. No salesperson is going to pitch something that they're afraid is going to make them look bad on a demo, or they're afraid that it's not going to deliver. And so that's why so many traditional media teams failed in the digital transition. They were used to selling a radio ad or a phone book, and they never gained the confidence or the urgency to make the pivot into digital. Your teams need to understand why this shift is happening before they can explain it to a client. We need to run sessions, walk through zero-click data, show them the math for a $10 lead, make it real, give them access to the platform to train the chatbot, to test it on the My Listing page, to use the chat within the reputation data so the team can test the review responses and see what it's going to do. The most effective thing I've done with sales teams is practice objection responses out loud. We role play clients who say, oh, my customers, they're just not ready for a chatbot. So what's your response? How are you going to answer that when the objection comes? My answer, they already use chatbots everywhere. On Amazon, on their bank's website, every major brand that they interact with. What your client is not ready for is a bad chatbot. And that's why we configure our AI conversations specifically for your business. Reassure them that the plan isn't to replace your internal team, your social media creator, your SEO specialist. Instead, what we want to do is we want to give them the tools so that they can actually do the things that they're really good at. On-site photography, video shoots, developing content strategies to increase user engagement. What we don't need to do is create more reports or manage listings or write that first draft of the blog content for the website. We can do all of that things. AI isn't about taking your job. It's about changing the way you do your job and hopefully creating more time for humans to do the things that humans do best. Being creative, being strategic, being interpersonal, managing client relationships. Externally, it's then taking that and saying, hey, this is where timing and specificity matter. If we go back to traditional or non-digital sales teams that I work with, they have killer sales teams. They're extremely comfortable selling their products. What the team got good at, their pitch, was because they practiced it until the language was automatic. They knew the timeline, they knew the window, they knew exactly what to say each step. So internally here at Vendasta, we had to make that change ourselves, from digital agency in a box to AI acquisition platform, right? We constantly are pushing ourselves internally to learn and understand this AI shift. How do we communicate it with our partners? We spend hours every month learning new things, playing in the platform, comparing pitches, listening to our best salespeople so that we can communicate it back to you externally. And so we have to build our AI pitch the same way. What's the trigger event? What's the problem you're trying to solve in the client's language? What's the first sentence you say after you open the conversation? Write it down. Say it 5 times out loud. Have someone push back to you. It's all about practice and repetition and spending the time to learn how to do these things. So I'd love to ask, just as far as you're aware, what are some of the biggest blockers of the AI shift within your agency, and what are the things that you're running into? My clients aren't asking for AI, not sure how to price and package. Time, big one there. Time don't have time to learn something new. Perfect. These are great. Pricing. I love seeing that my sales team doesn't believe in AI. Big, solid 0. Very nice. Awesome. So a couple of responses, objections that I hear regularly. Clients are not ready for AI. I would just say to that, they're wrong. Your clients already use AI everywhere. The consumer already uses AI everywhere. What they're not ready for is bad AI. And so we have a system that's built for them. Number 1. 2 is, hey, what if it says something wrong? Again, we control what it knows. We escalate, and it's only trained on what we approve. And the third one is, well, we don't have budget right now. We don't have money for this. And so to that, I just kind of ask the question, like, what does missing after hours leads cost? Let's do the math. Let's see how this pays back. If we go back to that coffee shop in Moose Jaw, the 4th coffee shop that didn't show up in Gemini, they lost a lead to a dead restaurant. That dead restaurant still had a better online presence with AI chat that was directing consumers towards that. And so the question is, can you afford not to be engaging with AI? So I thought I had one more poll, but maybe not. Let's recap and close. We're coming up. I don't know. I don't even know how long I'm supposed to go, or if I took enough time or not enough time. I guess we'll check the chat in a few minutes. Let me recap here. Markets moved. Zero click is real, and there is a risk for hesitancy. If you're not moving, you're going to miss out. And so then we want to run the framework, pitch the outcome, deploy with guardrails, and make sure that things are going well. The consumer feels good. Your clients feel good about it. And the third thing is use the language. Problem first, what it does, and what they pay versus what they get. Last thing I just want to say here is every shift looked like a risk to the agencies that hesitated, but it was a gift for the movers. You're here. You've already moved regardless of where your agency is. You're already ahead of other people in the market. That's exciting to me. I'm pumped every day to get to work with incredible partners that are pushing and learning and engaging and doing all of these things. And I know that every time we shift, there is pain, there's transition, there's things that aren't quite right or don't quite work the way we thought they were, but it doesn't mean that it's not the right move. And it doesn't mean that the opportunity for decades of market dominance aren't in front of us. And so I just want to keep encouraging you, keep pushing, keep going. You're doing the right thing. You're in the right place, and excited to continue to work with many of you. Last poll question here is, what is the immediate next step that you're going to take as you move an agency into an AI agency? Drop your answer into the poll. Do a quick gut check. If you have something else that's like not part of one of the answers that we gave, feel free to type that in the chat. Help each other learn. Continue to pass on your wisdom and knowledge, and let's just spend a couple minutes there, and then we can see if we have time for some question and answer. This is the part I've most been afraid about. Brett, I see you in there. Be kind, my friend. Be kind. Sweet. So I think we have a couple of minutes. I'm looking at Rashida over the computer. We do have a couple questions. Bruno I agree that consumers want quicker responses, and from a sales standpoint, consumers are more likely to stay interested in a product if we respond more quickly before they are distracted by something else and possibly no longer interested in our products. However, how fast is too fast? It annoys me if a company is all over me too much, too fast. It communicates that the company is desperate for my business. There has to be a happy medium. I love it. I think that this is just my gut reaction. There's a difference between being fast and being overly aggressive in the number of touch points. So if I get an immediate response text message when I book a calendar invite, I like that, right? I like to know immediately that my appointment's been confirmed and I'm set. There is also something different though about I get 2 SMS messages, 3 emails, and now I'm on a drip campaign that I agree can be a little overwhelming and too much. And so I think part of it is understanding what the moment of conversion is and what the appropriate next follow-up steps are. But I think an immediate text or an immediate email after most interactions is good. And then we just want to maybe dial back. I don't need a 5 email campaign necessarily following up right away. I don't know. Everyone can disagree with me. I'm not an expert. I just have some ideas. So if you have a better answer to Bruno, throw it into the chat, give him your ideas, help each other. Do we have any other questions, or was that? Oh, okay, shoot. Do you have to program each web and voice? What we found is we programmed the voice and the info didn't carry over to web chat. Yes, we do train voice and web chat differently. Now, all of the capabilities that you build and the knowledge base can be easily be transferred from one to another, but you do need to set them up. And voice functions just a little bit differently than the chat. And so it's a really good thing to be able to kind of set up. And then you can always talk to account manager or customer success team. We are really excited about our ability to take account templates and push them across multiple accounts now. And so once we train one conversations really well and we have specific workflows, capabilities, automations that we really like, we can use that as a primary account and we can copy those workflows and base knowledge into others. And so if you're working in a specific niche and industry and maybe you've changed the purpose for that industry, we can clone that across all of them now. It's really very exciting because it's reducing our manual load. So please feel free to reach out if you need some help. Are we still a half a generation away from prospective clients' leads being acceptable, comfortable getting AI chatbots to respond to them versus a human? I found that I can only go so far with chatbots. Again, I really think that this depends on the chatbot. When I go onto a website and I have a chatbot that immediately demands my name, email, and phone number, I stop. I'm not going to do that. My wife had a really interesting experience with another chatbot recently where she needed a refund, and the chatbot, she was like, oh, this is going to be terrible. It actually gave the refund to her immediately through the platform. And so if we get those kind of experiences where we get value as a consumer first, then I think we're going to be more okay with that. So I don't actually think it's a matter of being a half generation away. I really do believe that it's about value first and not just lead capture. That's why I think that the Vendasta chatbot is so good, is that it's not pushy for name, address, and phone number first. It will just answer our questions and help us get the value that we need, and then helps me pass on to a human when I need it. And so that's, I think, the big thing. It's about the value again, more than the human. Terrifying, perhaps, but I do think it's true. How are you calculating your recommended retail prices in a way to know where we are competitive? So we have our base prices, suggested retail. Jeff Leibel talked about this a couple sessions ago where he's recommended selling the same package, but you just change the price point based off the business that you're selling to and your ability to sell. I have partners that sell conversations standard, $29 for $150 US all the time. And so a lot of it is, how are you building the value? What kind of automations are you putting into that? And how are you selling it? And it does become a little bit less about being competitive and how well you can position it to sell. And it becomes a sales thing. So you can sell it for 60, 70 bucks and you can make a good margin and you can go for a lot of clients, or you can, honestly, you can sell that for $150, $200 with some automations, and people are willing to pay it. So it's an interesting time in the market. I would tie to that too. It also depends on what a lead is worth to that client. So if it's a dental practice and it's going to be a set of braces and it's going to cost me $15,000 for my kid, that lead's worth a lot more than somebody who has a little Shopify store and is selling handmade necklaces. And so that's obviously going to be a different case. Support for each of these to help set up as we grow the client, add more agents. I like what you're saying. Start with one. Yeah, so we have a SKU within our marketplace. You can have our team do setup. It can either be a one-time setup for $199, or I guess there's other pricing maybe, but I think base is $199 AI setup. We also have now a monthly SKU where you can charge it, and we'll continue to do the ongoing maintenance for you with that. And so when somebody comes, I'll just quickly, I think we're running closer to time. I don't know how many more questions there are, but I do want to highlight a really good sales tactic we're seeing with the AI agents now is selling them very similar to how you sold a website. One-time setup fee, that's the build. Monthly maintenance and ongoing costs, so that you're getting your time paid for when they come to you and say, oh, can you tweak this? I want you to add this answer, please do this. And then having the option for another build. So if somebody came to you in the past for a website and they said, hey, I need another 4 pages built, you would quote that out on an hourly rate and you'd be able to do that. Same thing if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I have this idea for an automation. Is it possible to do X, Y, Z and then send this? Yeah, absolutely. It's going to cost you 2 hours worth of my time to build that out for you. And so it's a really good way to kind of protect your time and costs as you're looking at setting up AI agents, whether that's having our team do it, you charging them a $400 setup fee initially, and then a $75 a month ongoing maintenance fee for upgrades, changes, automation builds, those sorts of things. I think it's a really good way to position yourself right now. Are we good? Okay. How do consumers feel about getting quicker responses from AI or chatbots versus waiting a little longer to be able to talk to a human? Again, right now, we're still talking about primarily having that first touch communication through text. I would be suspicious that most people would even know the difference right now when they're getting it, whether or not it's a human or not on the other end of the text. Voice is a different one. I'm very curious to see what will happen as outbound voice becomes a thing. I'm not sure how the market's going to respond to that one yet. I can see places where it will be really good and people will really buy into it. Others where they might prefer a few more minutes for a human to touch. We'll really see how the market shifts in that in the next months, I'm sure. Okay. Oh man, you guys have so many questions for me. What are you doing? Do you believe that MSPs are in a great position as it relates to managing agentic teams for clients, or do you feel more softwares will take that role? No, I think there's a great opportunity for MSPs here, partly because you've already been selling things like hosting and websites, and adding another layer of software into that fits very, very well. We've had quite a bit of experience with that here at Vendasta, where we worked directly with MSPs in the past, helping them become technology providers alongside the other things that they did. And so it's a great, great role. I think. Oh, and then as far, maybe I misread the question. Also, when IT things break, we still need people who know how to fix the wiring and the internet and the computer and the, like, we had an outage here in office a couple days ago, and AI wasn't fixing that. That was our awesome IT team knocking out gremlins out of our Wi-Fi system. So, that's not going away right now. That's also why I didn't respond to any emails that day. No. Okay. I just want to highlight really quick as we wrap up. Up next, we've got a really exciting presentation, May 28th. My colleague Kent is going to be leading a fireside chat with one of his partners, LeadWorks, and they're going to talk about how they're rapidly scaling without adding headcount. It's going to be a really fantastic conversation. So love to have you join us on the 28th with them. And then drum roll. Is there a drum roll emoji? Someone give it to me. No, nothing. Okay, fine. I'll just go this way. June 3rd, 12 p.m. Eastern, we're hosting our big party of the year, Vendasta Connect. We are so excited to introduce you to Vibe. We're launching the beta version of our Vendasta Vibe. It's a brand new AI app builder that we're building directly into the Vendasta platform. Unlike your Lovables, your Bolts, your Replit, Vibe doesn't start on a blank page. It starts with your business. You describe what you need: website, dashboard, lead capture app, project estimator. Vibe's going to build it in minutes, already branded, already connected to your CRM, already capturing leads the moment it goes live. So we're going to be joined by Brendan King, our CEO, with a keynote on Liquid software, the architecture replacing 40 years of broken SaaS. We're going to go live. We're going to build a live production-ready app on stage in front of you live. I'm so glad I'm not responsible for that. From there, a partner panel, agencies like Blue River Digital, Incept, who've already built their entire delivery models on Vibe. We're going to walk you through that AI run business. And then we're going to end with a live Vibe build off, hands-on workshops where you get to build something. So lots of people already excited. We're pumped about this. It's going to be a huge release. It's going to change the way software works and the way I think you think of Vendasta. So make sure you are registered. June 3rd, 12 p.m. It's going to be a party. Thanks, Kent. I was not created by Vendasta Vibe. It was Claude, but thank you. And thanks, everybody, so much for coming out, and really looking forward to continuing to work with all of you. Have yourself a great rest of your day, and all the best as you continue to shift your agency to becoming an AI agency. Have a great day.